night down there.
Now, we had a great time when you were here, and I really enjoyed your music. And you're not you list yourself as Americana on your webpage at Ken Petersen, all E's, Petersen, KenPetersenBand.com.
Yeah.
And and Killer and I were talking earlier about, because he's not familiar with you. He's from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, by the way. How you doing, man?
All right, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting educated into your music.
Well, if I say it's Americana, a lot of it's, I could say it's Beatlesque, because as you know, I did work with John Lennon for 2 years.
Right, I remember that, yes.
Oh, okay. I remember hearing about you when I was up in Atlanta, that we had someone play with us that actually at one time played with John Lennon, and you are that man.
I could be.
I believe so. Okay, well, great.
Yeah, because now it's coming back, because I remember the interview and the statement that trying to harmonize with the Yoko Ono in the Plastic Ono Band is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
No, but I got to be careful what I say.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. You don't want to burn any bridges in front of you or behind you.
I got put on notice once, so.
Okay.
Yoko's kind of still involved with us, so.
Yeah, but like I said, you don't want to burn no bridges, and I understand that. But we are here to do Artist Hour with Ken Petersen, and now a lot of it's coming back to me. I was kind of indulging in adult beverages that night, but yeah.
Oh, who wasn't? Come on.
Oh, amen. Because I definitely remember Get Out of My Tree, and I was thinking, and then when we did do the interview here, and you guys went up for another set, and we had a blast. We had a good time.
Well, the idea behind, I used to live in the Northwest, up in Oregon for about 20 years or so, and if you know anything about Oregon, they do a lot of clear cutting, and there's not much old growth left, and it's just a mess. I understand about logging, but it's got to be responsible. And I met a while back one of the tree sitters, Butterfly, one of the tree huggers, and it kind of inspired the CD, Get Out of My Tree. That's where it comes from. And about hypocrisy.
And actually, I have this CD at the house, and I have listened to it on more than one occasion. I do a lot of smoking of meat out in the back, and it takes hours. And I take my CD player out there, and I take all the CDs that have been brought here. I don't think I've bought a CD in ages, but I got a lot of great local music that I love to listen to. Yourself, the Tattoo Annie Project, Zigzag America, Dark Savant. I love it all, and I have a blast. And I've listened to your CD numerous times.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of exciting things are happening. We're doing the showcase at the Porpoise Pub this weekend. But we're also the band, we got hired by Tampa. You know the Rock in the Park series at Curtis Hickson?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never been there.
Well, they have concert series in Curtis Hickson Park. We're the main act on April 4th.
Oh, killer. So you're playing the Porpoise Pub out in Seminole.
Yeah, and then we have some other gigs going on. Everything's on my website, on the calendar. But the big one coming up is the concert at Curtis Hickson Park.
What day is that?
On April 4th, from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. We're doing set and a half.
And April 4th, what day of the week is that?
That's a Friday.
Ooh, killer.
Wow.
I'm pretty excited about that. Then, if everything goes well, I'm supposed to be going on tour out west in June.
And who are you going to be touring with?
What's that?
Who are you going to be touring with?
I go out and hook up with a bunch of friends of mine out there. My A&R guy from Capitol Records, global recording artist, is Normal Bean, who's well known around the country. And I'd be playing with him.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm supposed to be playing at, there's a big festival called FamFest, which is June 13th, and I'm the opening act for that. It's up in the Cascade Mountains. And then there's the Emerald Valley Hemp Fest, and I might be going down to Sacramento. So I go out the West Coast, it's still rusted Volkswagens and tie-dyed out there, so it's a bit different.
Yeah, I was actually raised in Northern California, so I'm very familiar with it. Oh, yes. Still to this day. Yeah, I was raised between San Francisco and Sacramento, a little town called...
Well, if you go up by Shasta, you got to stop in Weed and get a T-shirt.
Well, I've been out of California for going on 30 years now, and I don't know that I'd ever go back.
I hear you.
I never.
But my family, my immediate family, kids and granddaughter live out there, so I try and go out once a year and spend about a month out there touring around and doing some shows. So we'll see what happens.
And why don't we show a little love to the other members of the Ken Petersen Band?
The members, we have Eddie Santiago on drums, Doc Harris on bass,
Yeah.
and Scott Wendt, we call El Scotto, on guitar.
And if I remember right, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong, the night that you guys were here, you guys boogied, and your drummer hung and jammed all night long with the boss man, Craven.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was a good time. Craven really enjoyed that. I do remember that.
Well, Eddie's played with quite a few people.
All right, well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and Get Out of My Tree.
Okay.
And give everybody a taste of what Ken Petersen Band is about, and that way I can also talk about some other things off air with you.
Sure.
So we're going to go Get Out of My Tree. You ready, Killer?
I am ready. I am
All right.
indeed.
Buy a ticket to nowhere, a one-way ticket for me. And when I finally get there, I'm gonna find the tallest tree. Climb as high as I want to, enjoy the vision of the view. So now get out of my tree, just leave me be, to save the old growth, the ones we miss most. Just pass me by. Please just pass me by. There seems no the end of destruction in the name of construction. Every time we rape another mountain, we build a memorial fountain for the people once lived there, even if we killed them in fear. So now get out of my tree, just leave me be, to save the old growth, the ones we miss most. Just pass me by, please just pass me by. Just take a look at what we're extracting. Look back over the years, remember the trail of tears. In the name of progress, they pass another bill in Congress. So now get out of my tree, just leave me be, to save the old growth, the ones we miss most. Just pass me by. Please just pass me by.
Get Out of My Tree by the Ken Petersen Band. And on the phone with us, along with Killer, is Ken Petersen himself. Yeah, I gotta watch my levels. Now, we were talking about Curtis Hickson. Now, we were, which is the 4th or 6th?
April 4th.
April 4th.
It's a Friday. We're playing. The opening act is at 7. Her name is Sydney, and we're playing from 7:30 to 9.
And I love the price of it.
Yeah, it's free.
It's free.
Free. All right.
And you're not playing for free, but the concert is free. So you guys, Curtis Hickson, which is downtown Tampa.
Right.
And you can come see the Ken Petersen Band. Free. Free is always a good price. Now, like we were talking off air, this is going to be different than playing in a bar. Now, granted, I know you have played with John Lennon and that you've toured with him, and stage is nothing new to you. But what about the other guys? I know you said Doc's played, or not Doc, your drummer.
Yeah, well, he's played with everybody from like Chubby Checker to the Shirelles and Sly, and he's been around for a long time. I've been lucky too. I've opened from everybody from Chuck Berry to Starship. So.
Oh yeah,
Starship.
You never know who you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right here at the Radio Bar and Grill, Party Pirate 102.1. Now, go ahead.
Oh, okay, that's my cue. Sorry about that. Hey, so you were working with John Lennon, is that correct?
Yes.
So what era of time are we talking that you worked with John?
About 72.
About 72. So this was a good, almost a decade before his assassination.
Yes. The group I was originally with that we became the... you ever hear of David Peel on the Lower East Side?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No.
He did the Have a Marijuana Up Against the Wall albums, protest songs.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that was with him. Part of our crowd was Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin. And then David met John in Washington Square Park, where we used to do concerts. And we became the Plastic Ono Band. We signed up with Apple Records, and the album I did with John was called The Pope Smokes Dope.
The Pope Smokes Dope.
Yep.
Did you have any? Did you perform with him on any songs that may have been in regular radio rotation that I might recognize?
Lord knows, we did so much stuff back then. The last I saw him and the last I did was the David Frost show, where I actually got kicked off stage with Reuben.
Oh, really? So you actually performed with him on the Frost show?
Yeah, well, they did several takes, and I don't know which takes they used, but Reuben and I were protesting the war, and David didn't take too kind to that.
Yeah, I can imagine at the time.
So we had to watch the rest of it from the audience. But that was the nature of Jerry Rubin and Abby Hoffman.
So at that time in his life, what type of man was he? I mean, how would you describe his demeanor and things of that nature?
Who, John?
Yes.
Well, I got to work with him very closely in the studio for over 6 months. We recorded at the record plant, which is back then was one of the biggest studios in Electric Ladyland.
Oh, absolutely.
We did. It took about 6 months, and then John. It was interesting about this album is that he was also the engineer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of the only ones he ever did like that, and one of the ones he ever produced. So actually, I have to sit down with John taping us, which was kind of intimidating. But then I was invited to the mix sessions, just with him and Yoko, and hanging out till like 6 in the morning, mixing tapes. It was fun.
Was he like a jokester or a prankster or anything of that nature in the studio?
He was very serious, but very lighthearted. I mean, he was sarcastic, but he had no ego. He never got the fame thing. He never understood it.
Really?
No. And he was just like hanging out with your best friend. I mean, there was no ego, nothing. It was just a regular guy.
I mean, you were hanging out with a legend. Did it ever dawn on you for like a split seconds, like I'm in the presence of a Beatle? I mean,
the most intimidating one is a story that I can still see his face. The night I met him, we went down, and I had to do what a click track is. I had to lay down the first click track of the main song, and he let me use his guitar with him taping me. looking at me through the window with his glasses. I can still see it.
Oh,
and I did it in one take, and he said that was very good. So.
Wow. That's,
You want to talk about intimidation? I'll tell you.
I can only imagine. I'm sort of seeing it in my head.
No pun intended, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's really amazing. It's just like it must be a great experience to reflect upon.
Well, it was a long time ago. I was about 19 years old when that happened.
You're only 19 at the time.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really something. That's really something. So, like, you were so young that, like, even to you, like, the Beatles were, like, part of your childhood in a way.
Well, I remember, I mean, I was 12 when they came on Sullivan, so...
And that changed
everything.
Yeah, that changed the whole music world that night.
I remember.
That's something else. That's just wild. That's just wild. Ozman, do you have something?
Well, actually, yeah, we have another song.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yeah, we got more than one.
Were you going to play the Walker?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's a little story behind that. I used to live in California in Silicon Valley, and there was this elderly gentleman that had to walk 20 miles a day because of his heart. And he walked with this big staff along the freeway, so everybody would see him every day. It was called the Walker. That's what this song is about.
Well, let's check it out.
There you go. It's the Walker.
Such that if I stop, it will be the end of the line. So I keep on walking to turn my life around, and I keep on talking, yeah, in my mind. So many miles I've been strolling. People go, people pass in their cars running late, going fast. So I keep on walking to turn my life around, and I keep on talking, yeah, in my mind. Too long from my walking, I will never see the sun rise again. I must keep on this road that I must follow, 'cause if I don't, there will be no tomorrow. So I keep on walking to turn my life around, and I keep on talking, yeah, in my mind.
Oh, yes. Now, all right, Ken, we're going to do a little searching here for a minute.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about Curtis Hickson, but we kind of skipped over the gig you got this weekend at the Porpoise Pub.
Right. Okay.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, are we on the air?
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
yes,
Yes, mics are up.
Curtis Hickson, Dynamite is hosting it. Music Tampa Bay, and there's a whole bunch of different bands there, and I think we're playing about 5:30.
And for those of you that don't know, the Porpoise Pub is located on Seminole Boulevard, just a couple, 4 blocks off of Park. And if you've been around, you know where the Porpoise Pub is. Now, do you know any of the other bands that are going to be there?
No, I do not.
Well, that's not a lot of help.
Well, I can look it up on Facebook real quick. It'll just take a second. But,
All right.
What was really interesting was, again, the different bands that I've got to know. I was telling you off the air about they had the 40th anniversary Summer Love in Oregon, and they had a lot of the old bands from San Francisco. And what they had was we were open for Jefferson Starship, and they also had Big Brother and the Holding Company, Quicksilver Messenger Service.
Oh.
They also had Beautiful Day that did Whitebird, if you remember them.
Well, Whitebird, not so much.
Yeah.
Of course, Big Brother and the Holding Company used to have Janis Joplin in front of them.
Right. And then they also had Tom Constantine from the Dead, plus one of the original pranksters. Now, I just called up the page on Facebook. The bands that I see is Stone Dogs. Then there's Autumn Kinney and Michael McMadden.
Autumn Payne?
What that?
Was it Autumn Payne?
Autumn Kinney.
I was thinking maybe that was my buddy's band.
Okay. So that's the other people that I know that are playing.
Yeah, and actually, I think my buddy is playing out at the Porpoise that weekend. It should be the Sammy Davis Jr. Band.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that on the Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. He was up here yesterday with me. He's going to be coming in May with his new band in here, and 2 of the members of his band are actually members of Autumn Payne.
Okay.
So, all right. We did find some more music, by the way, just to let you know, Ken.
No good.
Okay.
Now, we're doing Porpoise Pub this weekend, and then you got Curtis Hickson. Before you head out west, are you going? Was there any other open gigs for you?
Well, let me go back to my. I'm looking on my tablet right now. I got to go to my calendar. I can rattle off a couple of places that we'll be playing at, just to let you know. I just have to call it up. It's all on Google. I use Google Calendar. Tonight I'm doing the Trouble Hook Medicine Show, folk show at Rosie's Tavern, and then I'll be a featured artist there next Wednesday. And then let's see what else we got coming up. On the calendar, we have events coming up. I'll be at Rosie Tavern on the 26th, like I said, and tonight. Then we're playing at the Inn in Dunedin on the Causeway. We've got Curtis Hickson. Then we're playing April 11th and April 12th at Hennessy's in Oldsmar.
Okay.
Then I'll be doing a solo with the Witch's Brew on the 19th. The 20th, I'm doing a solo with Jack Willie's in Oldsmar. Then I'm doing a couple more at the Tap House and Captain Jack's. Then in May, we're playing at the Eagle's Nest, back at Hennessy's again. And then we're also doing a blast night at the Capitol Beer House May 30th, inside at the Capitol Beer House for when they have the downtown celebration of Clearwater.
And guys, if you like what you hear and you want to go see Ken Petersen live, and I don't hear the Radio Bar and Grill anywhere in there, Ken, but you can actually go to Ken Petersen, Petersen, KenPetersenBand.com, and there is a calendar on there that lists all of Ken's dates, and you can go check them out live, because live is so much better.
Yeah, usually is.
Well, I mean, and trust me, I'm not. When you get the energy from these guys, because these guys have a great time on stage together. These four guys are best friends, and they jam. I've witnessed it in person. They jam.
Well, we've been together. This is our 7th year, so.
And Ken, I'm going to call it as I see it. I mean, you played with John Lennon. You're not necessarily a spring chicken, neither am I, and neither are the other 3 band members, but you'd never know it when you're on stage.
Well, we've been saving our energy for the right moment.
A little 5-hour energy right before they get on stage. Is that what it is?
There you go. And leave it at that.
Yeah, we're not talking Viagra now, Ken. Come on.
No. That's
right.
a whole different realm.
Now, we do have Backroads of My Mind. This is one you were telling me about off of another website. Now, it looks like a live jam going on.
It's at our studio.
It's in your studio. All right. Any Backroads of My Mind? Where did that come from?
Backroads of My Mind. I just made a U-turn and wrote it.
All right, guys, check it out. We're going to play some more Ken Petersen Band. This one is Backroads of My Mind.
All right.
Yes, Party Pirate 102.1, local artist hour. I got Mr. Ken Petersen from the Ken Petersen Band on with me. Oh, now the young lady that was in the video, you said is no longer with you, right?
No, she had other commitments. Her name is Teresa Marie. She's very good. She was with us for a while, and she was on the CD, so I can't, not say that she wasn't with us.
Right.
She did her dedication and did her music with us, and she was very good. What I was talking about, going out west, there's a bunch of festivals that I'm playing at. One of them is the Emerald Valley Hemp Fest. And the town of Eugene, Oregon is very unique. Actually, they have several famous things that they're known for. Number one, Animal House was shot there. You might not know that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's where Belushi went crazy. But also, Eugene is like Portland. It's very eclectic. I guess I could put the word. And if anybody knows the stories about the old days and the 60s, there's the famous bus trip that was taken by Ken Kesey with the pranksters, Ken Babbs, Neil Cassidy, and that's the bus further, and that's where they had the Kool-Aid acid test. But I knew Ken Kesey in Springfield and his brothers. I used to see them every morning where I work, across the street. And Kesey was a really nice guy. Again, he wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And Ken Babbs is still out there. He shows up at some of the shows. So, the pranksters are based there. So is Wavy Gravy from the Hog Farm, which is also famous. So those people are still around as much as they can be.
All right. Now, we've been talking with Ken Petersen at his Artist Hour with myself, Ozman, and Killer.
Am I up?
Now you are now.
I am now. Hey, you said you got to spend some time with the band Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
And you got to know Cantor a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, he's a very interesting person.
Yeah, I've heard he has a very interesting personality. Is there anything you can fill us in, like something to tell us about Cantor and Starship?
Well, all I can say is that, number one, they're mesmerizing with their experience with the airplane and everything else. Again, the word eclectic comes up. I mean, they did a bunch of albums about hijacking a star. Most people don't know where that comes from. The airplane, before they split up, did 3 albums. One of them was called Blows Against the Empire, which was a combination of the Dead, Grateful Dead, the Jefferson Airplane, Quicksilver, and Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And it was about hijacking the starship and splitting the planet. That was about 1969. They also did Sunfighter, which was very similar to that. And then they did another album called Baron von Phobos and the Chrome Nun. And after that, as the airplane split, they became Starship and the other part became Hot Tuna.
But isn't it like they were originally a Jefferson Airplane, then Jefferson Starship, and then they just went to Starship? Is that how it went?
Right, but the original Starship was a combination, like I said, of some of the Dead, Jerry Garcia, Quicksilver, and David Crosby and Stephen Stills. They were all on that album.
Oh, really?
Very amazing album, one of my favorites.
I have to definitely look that one up.
Yeah, it's called Blows Against the Empire.
Sounds interesting.
And that's where the concept for the group Starship came from.
I remember hearing that he wasn't very happy with the version that did We Built This City.
They got very commercial afterwards, but if you caught the early Starship, there was also Papa John Creech, the fiddle player, and he played with the airplane, Hot Tuna, and Starship. He was with all 3 groups. He was amazing.
That's something else.
And then that's about the time when they became Starship. They brought Greg, I can't pronounce his name, Greg Caccio.
Yeah, he was okay, but Slick was still with him. Basically Starship, the original members of the airplane that was in it was Ballin, Cantner, and Slick. And then obviously Hot Tuna was Jack Cassidy and Norma Calkin.
And those are the guys that did like Jane, like that single Jane. And
yeah, that was the Starship. Yeah. And that was okay stuff, but the early stuff is much better.
Well, We Built This City on Rock and Roll has got to be the worst, in my opinion, mine.
Oh, I agree with you.
The worst rock and roll song ever done.
Oh, my God, I know. And one time, never mind, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
You sure? No, let's go there. Or maybe give a sense of version.
The best airplane concert I ever saw, I used to go to high school in Manhattan, the High School of Art and Design, And on the way home, this is about 69, 68, on the way home from high school was the Fillmore East. So I used to go to the Fillmore all the time. And I got to see the airplane do the premiere of Volunteers. And that was just incredible. And one time I got to see the Dead at a concert in Brooklyn on a Thursday night. And my friend ran the lights off, so I got backstage to hang out with Jerry and the boys. And then in at midnight, in walked the Jefferson Airplane to jam with them. And then Michael Bloomfield showed up. So, I mean, that was New York. You got to see some great shows.
Yeah, well, a lot of things happen in New York that don't happen anywhere else.
That's about it.
Well, and you know, and back in, I'd say back in the day.
Yeah, that's one of my songs.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody knew each other, and the egos weren't necessarily there as much across the board as they are nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, John and people like that, even Jerry Garcia was the nicest guy. You know, he was just Jerry, you know. Same with Bob Weir and Nicky Hart and all those guys.
How about a Weir Garcia?
I also know the writers of the Purple Sage, you know, Nelson and all. They're just really, you know, down-to-earth people, you know, from that era. It never went to their heads.
And when you and I sat in together that night you played and we did the interview, which I had a blast doing. You know, we were talking about the musicians nowadays, especially our local musicians here in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
You know, they're about the music. They are about the music, and that's back in the day where it was. I mean, you know, you had plenty of garage bands back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, you know, that dreamed to be in Aerosmith, dreamed to be in Ted Nugent, you know, that kind of petered out and just said, okay, forget it. But nowadays, the local music scene has really, there's a lot of driven people out there. One of the reasons we do this show is to showcase everything that's going out there. Now, you get to play with these other bands locally. I mean, how do you feel the sense of what back in the late 60s, early 70s to now? I mean, can you see a revival of the local musicians getting right?
I know a bunch of local musicians. I mean, there's some bands out there like One Son, Chilla Soul, 4-Star Riot that are really good, and they have a good head on their shoulders. They're very good friends of mine. They play all over the place. And then there's the people from like KRVM, the folk circle, Pete Gallagher, the folk people, Pat Bardmore. There's a lot of good musicians around. You know, they're having, I guess, the Sarasota Folk Festival this weekend. But there are some good people out there. You know, it's not all egos. And, you know, you have the Betty Fox band, Rebecca Pulley, she's awesome.
Oh, yeah?
You know, she's a friend of mine. Just saw her a couple of weeks ago. She played at Rosie's. And, you know, there are people, like I said, that have, you know, good head on their shoulders.
Oh, yeah, and Rebecca, who I also know, what a fantastic lady to begin with.
She is awesome. And we both share in common that we played at a place called the Accent. I'm trying to remember. We both played up in Oregon. She was on tour there, so that's kind of funny.
Well, you also both played right here at the Radio Bar and Grill.
Yeah, and Rebecca, I'll see her again soon. But you know, there's some really good people around, and she is one of the most awesome. I mean, her writing is unbelievable.
Well, and actually, I did an artist hour not too long ago with a band out of Tennessee called Padlock Grin, who actually just had come down last week and did a small tour of the Bay Area and was able actually to open up for Rebecca.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, and there were a bunch of great guys. I really had a good time. Now, Ken, I've got Oh Darlin' lined up, and it looks like a live gig. Is that one going to be good, or do I need to search something else? No,
that'd be good. That's Teresa wailing it out.
All right, guys, let's check it out. Mr. Ken Petersen from the Ken Petersen Band on phone with myself and Killer. This one's called Oh Darlin'.
It's better. Wake up.
I see a lot of beautiful friends out there. We thank our friends for coming out and supporting the Ken Petersen Band. Look forward to the CD release party that we're going to have real soon for an album that's called Get Out of My Tree.
Right now we're going to do a little another Beatles tune for you called Oh Darling. Oh yeah. It's right here. Come back.
All right, thank you.
Say when you're ready.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, darling, please believe me that I never do you wrong. Believe me when I tell you that I never do you wrong. Oh, darling, if you need me, well, I'll never make it alone. Believe me when I tell you that I never do you no wrong. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I broke down and cried. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I broke down and cried. Oh, darling, please believe me that I never let you down. Believe me when I tell you that I never do you no harm. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I broke down and cried. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I broke down and cried. Oh, darling, please believe me that I've never let you down. Believe me when I tell you that I never do you no harm. Put your hands.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nice rendition of the Beatles classic from Abbey Road. Oh, darling, right there. Ken Petersen Band.
And on the phone with us is Mr. Ken Petersen himself.
That's right.
Still here.
Yeah, you still are, man. That was a pretty good cover. Do you guys usually like to throw a couple of classics into your sets?
We do nothing but classics.
Oh, nothing but classics.
I mean, that's what we're about. We keep a certain era alive.
Well, that sounds pretty
We
good.
don't do any heavy metal or anything.
Oh, no, I didn't mean of that nature, but you do originals in your set as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I have a couple of CDs out, so you know.
Yeah. So, like,
And I'm working on a third one right now.
so when you're thinking of what sort of classic song can we put into this night's set list, what inspires you to choose the ones you do, and what ones do you actually choose?
Well, a lot of it's, knowing how to play a crowd, play in the room. Where their energy level's at. It's something I've been doing for a long time. I just kind of make it up as I go.
All right. Okay.
Now, when you were here, we were talking off air about the young lady that was with you that night, and how the four of you are the core of the Ken Petersen Band. Obviously, you like a female singer. I mean, are you looking to bring in that fifth female, or that female as the fifth member, or?
That's always a possibility.
Well, I mean, the young lady that was here with you that night, and you told me her name, and I don't recall.
Her name is Ray.
Ray, that's
she just has, like I said, some other things happening right now. But
right.
We're always open.
So, but you're not actively searching.
No, but you never know when it's going to come your way.
Well, amen. I was talking with a band one day who found a girl working at McDonald's that could sing her ass off.
Okay.
So, now, you got Porpoise Pub coming. You got Curtis Hickson Park and the other gigs. When are you going to take some downtime?
What's that?
Yeah. Well, amen.
What's that?
Down what?
I mean, you got to keep working it. That's what it's all about. You're only here for a certain period of time,
All right, Ken, give me one more of your originals off of YouTube.
I've been trying.
All right. Well, I'm looking for that. Talk to the man.
Okay, I'll talk to the man. So, when you did that song, "Oh Darling," when you chose that for the set, was it more based upon your female singer at the time's capabilities of singing it, or was it like sort of a little shout out to your pal John, or?
It was a combination of both.
I know this is a foolish question to even ask at this point, but like, was she like really familiar with the song, or did you say, "Hey, can you learn "Oh Darling" and maybe we can throw it into the set"?
She was familiar with it. Like when I do solo, my first opening song I always do for John. I always play it. It's just a must. I always play "Hide Your Love Away."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great track.
And then another Lennon tune I like to play. One of my favorite that we play in the band is "Working Class Hero."
Oh, yeah, a very standard. I've got like a couple of artists doing that as well in my personal collection. Green Day does a very good version of that. And,
absolutely.
And Ozzy gave it a shot too.
Okay.
For his yeah, that's a very good song. I always thought that was a great standard of his. That's a very good one.
Well, I try and keep a certain amount of love. I don't want to become, the trap is becoming a Lennon tribute band, which we're not, or Beatles. You've got to keep a good mix going. I mean, there are tribute bands out there.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not what we're about.
But I think the most recent one is a band touring the country by the name of Rain, who dresses up in the Beatles outfits from every single era. Have you ever heard of them?
I've seen it, yeah.
And what do you think of that when you see that? Because they also throw some of John's solo work into that mix as well, which I think is a little, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that when they're basically doing the life of the Beatles, and then all of a sudden they go into John's solo work. How do you feel about that when Rain does that?
It's part of the era. I mean, it's all that. There's another group out there I knew that I've seen at the Oregon Country Fair called Abbey Road. That does a real fine job. But, keeping Beatles music going, I mean, you got to think about the impact they had. What is it, 50 years later?
Yeah.
And they're still one of the most popular bands? Come on.
I know.
I mean, what does that mean?
Well, it means they got it right.
Yeah, that means...
Yeah, well, my favorite probably of all the Beatles... Well, I can't say what's my favorite, but when I always listen to is side 2 of Abbey Road. The whole medley from Here Comes the Sun on. I never get tired of that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Now, when you're writing, I mean, do you purposely try to stay away from that type of, where you write a song and you're like, oh no, that's all John, No,
I just, I learned from John. He was my mentor, but it's an extension. I just maybe learned the parameters of how to write certain way. It's all from me, but.
Well, I understand that, but
I can't help the influence.
Well, and to learn music theory from a man like John Lennon is an invaluable lesson.
Oh yeah, and writing. I mean, I even got to ask him how he wrote certain songs, and he's just like smiling, going, "It just came to me."
Amazing.
Sat down, smoked a joint, and wrote a song.
Well, one of his comments that I put on my website was my favorite. He said, because everybody always looked to him for answers and stuff, and he said, "Don't look to me for answers. Look to the clouds."
Look to the cloud. Interesting.
Not the clouds, the cloud.
The clouds.
The clouds.
Yes.
Plural.
Reach for the stars, as it were.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we do have I've Been Trying lined up. I did find it.
Okay.
And we got about 5 minutes left, and we're going to go ahead and play it, and we'll be right back with you. I got Mr. Ken Petersen from the Ken Petersen Band on the phone during Local Artist Hour every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m.
All right.
3, 4.
Trying
me, that you love me too.
Oh, yes.
That was a nice bluesy track, wasn't it? Yeah, that had a lot of heart in that one. What was the name of that track again?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Well, let's ask Ken. What was the name of that track, Ken?
I've been trying.
That's
been
right.
trying.
I've been trying. The Ken Petersen Band. And we've been hanging out with Ken, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been having a good time.
Yeah. Really appreciate all the stories of the behind the scenes of the rock and roll greats, of Lennon and the guys from Starship, and you were even talking a little bit about Jerry Garcia. I mean, wow. I mean, you've really there must be more than 6 degrees of separation for you, man. I tell you, you've met some of the amazing greats and played with some of the amazing greats. It must be.
I've been lucky.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, Ken, we got to blow them away. Killer isn't familiar with you. We got to blow them away. Do you remember the story we were talking about the night we did the interview where you were up on stage playing, and I believe, I forget where the hell it was, but Zeppelin and everybody else was there? Wasn't that you?
I don't remember that one. Not Zeppelin.
Okay, maybe that was Jerry LeBlanc from Rare Earth. I think it was Jerry. I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's all right.
Yeah, I had Jerry in here, and he was telling me about that. But, to live the life that you have led, people would probably kill for it.
I hope not. Man of peace.
Have you ever met someone in the industry that you met for a very short period of time, but really made an influence on you nonetheless? Like someone you just met, like almost in passing, that just blew you away, just with just a few words or a few notes, or
Probably Paul Kantner.
really?
Yeah, and Garcia. I mean, they were just. It's hard to describe. They were nice people, but I've been lucky, if not to hawk my own thing, is that right now, if anybody's interested in the CD, we're on Global Recording Artist, which is run by Carl Anderson, a subsidiary Capitol Records, and it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. You can get it from Global Recording site. Global has a lot of eclectic artists, and David Peel is even on there. So.
Oh.
And just remember, guys, when you search Ken Petersen Band, it's all E's. There's no O's in Petersen.
There was on my mom's side.
All right. Well, Ken, I appreciate you calling in. This has been Artist Hour. Our time is about up.
Yeah, it was nice meeting and chatting with you, Ken. I appreciate your time today.
Well, I hope to get to see some of you folk out at the Porpoise Pub this weekend.
If not, I will definitely try to make Curtis Hickson.
You got it. And peace to everyone.
And peace to you too as well. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. That was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I do too. I got a little bit of a history lesson again. I always love getting my lessons here at the Party Pirate. And wow, just the whole thought alone of being only 19 years old and you're playing and recording with John Lennon.
Absolutely.
It just blows me away. I'm just so impressed right now. That was because a lot of John's work that he did after the Beatles, a lot of it gets more airplay than the Beatles does in this day and age.
Oh yeah.
That's just amazing. I'm glad to have been a part of it. And thank you so much, Osmer, for letting me hang out with you.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
I've enjoyed our team ups for the past 6 days.
And can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, I'm hoping that sometime in May or possibly June. I'm hoping more for May. I shall return. I got like 4 more hours left.
Yeah.
And thank you, buddy. Thank you, brother.
You know it, man. I appreciate I appreciate all the knowledge and everything that you've imparted upon us here at the Radio Bar and Grill, the Party Pirate 102.1. And I can't wait for you to come back.
I can't wait to come back, man. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of your show. And on behalf of everybody here. Thanks for bringing these local artists to our attention, Oz. We really appreciate it.
Well, you know,
he's not really local, but he is like.
Well, he is. He is here in Tampa, and he's playing here. But I mean, yeah, he was a national artist,
right?
And we've done some national artists, and we've done people, Mr. Lee Pons, Jerry LeBlanc from Rare Earth. Lee Pons has played with B.B. King, you know, but they're still out there local. They're still playing local, writing songs here in the state of Florida, and the state of Florida gets ignored. The local music here in the state of Florida, that's why I was trying to play you some yesterday during 2 for Tuesday. Gets ignored, and it's a shame because there's a lot of fantastic music that comes out of this state.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, you're not doing. Yeah. I mean, remember, I came of age during when Central Florida was the death metal capital of the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know you're not into death metal, but it was.
Oh yeah.
It was an amazing time.
Neck braces are required.
Oh yeah, but it was an amazing time to be a teenager in West Central Florida when you were walking around and it was just. And you just in Ybor City and just bump into members of Sepultura or Morbid Angel or like on my 16th birthday party when I had members of Morbid Angel, Obituary, and Death at my party and somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, the guys from Death are going to throw you in your pool." I could not be more honored. I took off my watch, I took out my wallet, and I said, "Throw me in, guys." We just just like it was a wonderful time to come of age in the 80s and every time I come back home, it brings back great memories and memories that make me realize that my home of Tampa, Florida, still has more memories to make. And I am going to try like hell, as I have been for the past, I don't know, about maybe 11, 12 months now. I've been trying to make Tampa my permanent home once again. And I promise you people out there, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to leave Killer for his last 2 solo hours.
Last 2 solo hours.
For March of 2014.
That's right. And once again, thank you, Ozman. And,
absolutely, brother. It's been my honor.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I wish you all blue skies, dry roads, no red lights. I am Ozman. I am up. Stay tuned. Killer's last 2 hours of March 2014 solo, and then he's going to be hanging out because Storm's going to be in the house 7 to 9, and Killer's going to hang out with him.
Her.
Yeah. Killer's going to hang out.
Storm's going to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's going to hang out with Storm.
Well, y'all going to be hanging things out here or there,
and you know it'll be my last 2 hours, and yeah, we're gonna hang them high. I promise you.
There you go. A little Metallica coming at you.
Oh yeah, why not?